One of the important calls in recent years in the fight against gender-based violence is the campaign to have the sex offenders list made public, a crucial step for communities to ensure they are not exposing children and women to sex offenders. And now it seems at last some progress. Writing in his weekly newsletter today, President Cyril Ramaphosa has listed 3 new bills which will help tackle sexual violence. Among them is the plan to make the sexual offenders register publicly available. Currently, it's only available to prospective employers. Someone who has been campaigning for this is Nelisa Ngulana. Now, her petition has received over 48,000 signatures. She joins us now. Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. The President says the bill is going to expand the scope to include all sexual offenders, not just those who harm children, and the bill is going to be made law soon. What does this news mean to you? You've campaigned so hard for this.
Good evening, Sally. Thanks for having me. While I am relieved that the President is making moves towards this, we must remember that he made this exact same pronouncement on the 5th of September last year. So it is a bit disheartening that at the time when he made that, it has taken him 12 months to get here. This step was supposed to have been part of the emergency response plan that was put into play in October last year. So it is a little bit concerning that this process is taking so long.
Yeah, exactly. That was going to be my next question. Have you got any understanding or any guarantee of how long this will take? Bills can take a long time to go through Parliament. Have you been given any assurance of how long, whether you're talking weeks, months, or maybe another year?
There has been no indication. I have been trying to get comment from the Minister of Justice's office with regards to what the timeline is on this bill and what the action plans are actually happening in order to support and fast track the movement of the movement around the bill, and particularly what work is being done to make sure that when the bill is passed, the list will be ready to go live. Because if you remember, you mentioned as well that the registry has been there. However, it hasn't been updated in a long time. So those updates still need to happen. It also needs to be made accessible to the public. So all of that requires a lot of background work to be happening already.
So this public register in a country like ours, where there is so much sexual violence, is important. But there is a potential downside. We see a lot of acts of vigilantism and lawlessness, particularly as communities get frustrated when action is not taken. What sort of safeguards would there be in place to make sure that when this register is made public, that sort of thing doesn't happen?
So remember, Sally, in order for a person to be on the list, they have to have been convicted. So it means that there is no room for, incorrect names to end up on the list. And most of the time, the list as it exists now, we know that, perpetrators go through a public court process. Perpetrators get to, if they get a jail sentence, they get to spend that time obviously in prison, and this whole process happens in public. And usually, we haven't recorded much vigilantism currently based on the current list. So I do believe that once this list has been made public, the criminal justice system will still follow its course, so that people who are on the list are convicted and have been tried and tested. All of that information is in the public domain already.
Well, thank you so much for your time this evening. I guess the campaign continues while we wait for the bill to become law. But thank you very much for your time this evening, Nelisa Ngulana. She, of course, is campaigning to make the sexual offenders register public.